Hey everyone, welcome to today's Explainer. Today, we're literally going under the skin for a microscopic tour of the human body to understand the profound effects that physical activity has on our vital systems. Our goal is to dive deep into exactly what happens inside you when you decide to move. So if you've ever wondered what's truly powering your every step, you were absolutely in the right place. Real quick, here is our roadmap for the Explainer. We're going to hit 5 main areas: the harmony of health, the skeletal and muscular systems, fueling up with the respiratory system, the double circulation system, and we'll wrap up with the power of exercise. Let's get into it. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of individual organs, let's ground ourselves with this classic piece of wisdom. A healthy individual is one who has a healthy mind and a healthy body. During the challenging times of the COVID-19 pandemic, we really saw how true this is. It perfectly captures how our physical, mental, and emotional health are totally intertwined. You honestly can't optimize one without taking care of the others.
Okay, Section 1, the harmony of health.
We usually think about our organs doing their own separate things, right? Like the brain thinks, the heart beats. But actually, they work together as this massive integrated system to keep us moving smoothly. Imagine you decide to go for a run. It's not just your legs doing the work. Your brain fires off the initial command, your digestive system has already prepped the fuel, and your heart and lungs team up to deliver that fuel exactly where it's needed. It's basically a perfect biological symphony.
Which brings us to Section 2, skeletal and muscular systems. So how do we actually generate that physical movement? Well, think about warming up for a sport right now. Just under your skin, your bones create this vital structural framework, your skeleton, and these bones are held securely together by tough ligaments. This whole setup gives us leverage against gravity, but here's the thing. On its own, it can't move you a single inch. To move those structural bones, your voluntary muscles have to physically contract. These are the muscles attached to your bones by tendons that move completely according to your will. When you want to flex an arm or leg, the muscle contracts, pulls on that tendon, and uses the bone like a lever. Now, if we zoom way in on those muscles, it gets even wilder. Inside these elongated cells, you have these tiny muscle proteins called actin and myosin. When your brain says move, these proteins literally slide over each other to create that contraction, burning calories while they do it. That microscopic sliding, that is the absolute root of all human movement. Next up, Section 3, fueling up with the respiratory system. So you might be wondering, where does the energy for all that microscopic sliding actually come from? How do our cells pay for all this activity? Well, it boils down to this beautiful little equation. Your body oxidizes glucose, which you get from digesting food, using the oxygen you breathe in. This chemical reaction produces carbon dioxide, water, and ATP. That reaction happening inside your cells is literally the spark of life. Without a constant supply of oxygen, the whole system just stops. Let's talk about ATP for a second, or adenosine triphosphate. You can think of ATP as your body's fundamental biological currency. Whenever those actin and myosin proteins flex to move your body, they are actively spending ATP to make it happen. And to keep minting that ATP currency, you need oxygen. That's where your ribcage and diaphragm come in. They act just like a biological bellows. When you inhale, your diaphragm flattens down, expanding your chest to pull fresh air in. Exhale, and those muscles relax, pushing back up to force the carbon dioxide waste out. It is a totally continuous, elegant rhythm. Moving right along to Section 4, the double circulation system. Okay, so you've got fresh oxygen in your lungs, but it doesn't do any good just sitting there. It needs a super fast, reliable delivery network to reach those working muscles. At the absolute center of that network is your heart. It's this incredible cone-shaped, 4-chambered pump made of unique cardiac muscle that literally never takes a break from the moment you are born. And this heart drives what we call double circulation. It's a brilliant 2-part loop. First, deoxygenated blood collects in the right atrium. Second, the heart pumps it straight to the lungs to grab fresh oxygen. Third, that oxygenated blood comes back to the left atrium. And fourth, it gets powerfully pumped out to every part of your body. Because the blood passes through the heart twice in one complete circuit, it makes oxygen delivery to your tissues incredibly efficient. Finally, let's look at Section 5, the power of exercise. Now that we know the baseline mechanics, what happens when we really stress these systems? Well, regular physical activity triggers massive physiological upgrades across the board. Weight-bearing exercise preserves bone mass, which helps fight off osteoporosis.
It enlarges muscle fibers, increasing your overall muscle size by up to an astonishing 60%. It also maintains healthy muscle tone, multiplies your blood capillaries for better fuel delivery, strengthens those ligaments and tendons, and even sharpens your nerve reaction time. But there's a catch when you push your absolute limits. During intense sports, your demand for ATP skyrockets, and you can actually outpace your oxygen supply. When this happens, lactic acid builds up, causing fatigue. It also creates something really fascinating called oxygen debt. You are essentially borrowing biological energy on credit. Think of it like a strict financial transaction. Let's say a runner needs 3 liters of oxygen to sustain their pace, but they're only breathing in 2 liters. Well, they just accumulated a 1-liter oxygen debt, and your body is a meticulous accountant. That debt absolutely has to be repaid. That's the exact reason why athletes breathe so heavily during recovery. They are taking in extra oxygen to pay off that physiological loan. So, we've just seen the incredible interconnected biological machinery inside you and how physical activity fundamentally upgrades it all, from your bones right down to your capillaries. I want to leave you with this final thought for today's explainer. Knowing how profoundly physical activity transforms your cellular machinery, how will you challenge your organ systems today?